Have you ever been in a situation where you have something you want to achieve, a place you want to belong, but you just feel out of place? If you're in a situation right now that you feel uncomfortable, that you feel like you don't belong there, that you think that it's too much for you, that you think that you're not going to be able to take it or handle it, that you're going to be judged, that, you're fearful, you have all these things, you even feel so small. Have you ever felt that? If you have, today I'm going to teach you a strategy in order for you to break through that wall and actually sit in the seat that has always been reserved for you. Are you ready? So come with me. Hi, my name is Paula Bresson, and today I'm going to share with you this experience that I had that really helped me to break through, and I'm using it again recently, so this is why I wanted to record, because today I actually challenged myself to go through that process again, and because I am on the verge of the next breakthrough in my life. So to start, I'm going to tell you a little story of little me when I was back in Brazil in this town called São Paulo. And my parents, actually, I can consider myself almost poor, but my parents worked very hard. My dad had a music school and he worked very hard to give me a proper education and everything, and I used to go to this school. And one day this travel agency went to my school and had meetings with all these kids, introducing the plan to go to Disneyland. That was so far away from my reality. That never even crossed my mind ever. Honestly, that school that I went to, I don't know of anyone that had gone to Disneyland. I watched that presentation and I was so thrilled. I was like, oh my God, I really want to go to Disneyland. And I had never had that type of desire or anything like that, dreams. People have many dreams in life and everything. I had never really wanted something that was out of reach, to be honest. And I remember coming home and trying to approach my dad and talk about this, and even talking to him about this was kind of nerve-wracking because I knew that this was something out of reach. And I spoke to him and I told him about this meeting and that there was going to be a second meeting if that, and that all the parents were invited and everything, and he promised me to go to that second meeting. To be very honest, I don't think that we even spoke about it. I don't recall it being him ever saying, oh, I'm sorry, we can't go, but I'm pretty sure that we had that conversation. That was it. That was basically it. I just think that we never really spoke about it again. And you know how life is, life turns around and things happen. And my mom had a brother that he was American, and he came to Brazil to visit, and he invited her to live with him. And we ended up moving to America, and that was when I was still a kid. But we lived in Salt Lake City, and we never traveled. Like I'm saying, my parents, they couldn't afford much, and when we migrated to America, we couldn't afford anything either. Ended up that, long story short, I never went to Disney, and then I decided when I was 18 to come back to Brazil, and before doing that, I did go to Universal. But that was the closest that I got to Disney World type of thing. Then I had kids. And when they started, to grow, I remember wanting to take my kids to America just to take them to Disney. So we ended up going when my kids, my daughter was around, I don't know, I can't remember. She was around 6, 7, and my son was around 10. I took them both, and we ended up going one day to Disney and the other 2 days to Universal, and that was it. We kind of transfer desires and things that sounds not approachable. We transfer that even to our next generation, right? But pay attention to this. One day on Christmas Eve, we were doing one of these travels, me and my kids. I booked a dinner party, a Christmas dinner party at the Floridian hotel, with princesses and all of that. I went with both of my kids. And I remember that when we arrived to the entrance of that hotel, Because if you guys don't know, like the Floridian is huge. It looks so fancy. And I remember that the first time that I arrived over there, I looked at this like ceiling. It has this really high and beautiful crystal chandelier in the middle of the main room, the entrance room. And I looked up and I was like, whoa. And I kid you not, like for a minute, I was so mesmerized, but at the same time, it was this strange feeling because I felt like that was a little too much for me, little me. I felt out of place. I walked in and I kind of like probably launched my shoulder and everything. I was kind of feeling like I don't belong here. You know, I wasn't a guest there. I just booked a dinner, right? And I just had this low self-worth feeling that came attached to that moment at the same time that I was so happy and so overwhelmed of joy of having me and my kids to that dinner that day. And I remember that, you know, feeling at the first time that we went there. And then we went to dinner, and dinner was great. It was fine. The princesses came to sing and dance during the dinner, and came to talk to my daughter, gave her an autograph and all those cute things and everything and all that. Then we go back to Brazil. Life goes on. Little did I know, in my life path, I ended up having to move to America again. I went to Orlando. And when you live in Orlando, it's very hard for you not to get Disney passes and Universal. We got the Universal pass first because we used to love Universal and we used to be there like every single weekend. But you end up getting Disney passes as well because a lot of people around you, like they want to book dinners and they want to book like like when they go out, they will say like, oh, let's go out tonight. Let's go to Epcot. And this is just something regular that they do. So you end up like wanting to get the tickets just to be able to, you know, be with them. Like when they, instead of like going to the mall, that's not what they do. They go to the park, you know. What ended up happening, even before we got the passes, since we're living there, was we discovered that at Disney Springs, you can catch a bus, have lunch or have a snack or whatever, you know, like walk around. And we used to do that all the time. And so like Floridian became a place that I used to visit often. And I would go there and have drinks and sometimes sit down and work, do the SPC system there. Like I will probably find pictures of me doing the SPC system inside of the Floridian, which is wildly crazy. And what started happening, and that was quick, it didn't take long at all, like many visits after that first visit that I told you, for me to just find it normal and just find that all that something regular, something that I just did on my weekend. And I remember one day going there with my daughter and recalling that first day that I was there and wondering if she felt the same thing that I felt. And I was like, Mel, do you remember the first day that we came to the Floridian? She was like, oh yeah. And she was like, whoa, like it's so funny because I thought that this was like the most beautiful place on earth. And like right now, I can even like see some details that are not quite fixed. Some, you know, like this is what's wild and crazy. It's like when you get a new car and you're super excited about it. And all of a sudden you start seeing like a little spot there. You start seeing that like somebody bumped to it. After like a while, it's not anything new. And like, you don't even remember you have that car outside, you know? So I figured that day that she kind of, and then I shared with her my feeling that I had when I went there first of like feeling like I didn't belong there. And she shared with me that she kind of felt the same. She was like, yeah, I understand. Like I felt like that was something that I couldn't reach. And I was like, exactly. That is just a mindset type of thing that not only we could reach, but we were there all the time to the point where we were looking at the carpet and seeing stains on it. But the main thing is not about noticing the stain, is noticing how we can get to position. And when that happened, it's kind of like we leveled up. We leveled up in the way that we perceive ourselves. I am very comfortable in that level now. And it is not about the money. It's about the value within yourself and breaking the limits within your mind that says that you don't belong to a certain place or not. So recently, I have been working on things, and I'm not going to disclose everything because I am a true believer that you should not talk about things that are still in the seed level. And this project is in a seed level. But I can, and I don't want to give you any spoilers of that, but I can say that it feels a little bit of the same sort of feeling that I had when I entered when I went in that hotel for the first time. It sort of feels like that. Because the project is so big that I feel small, like I don't feel, it's almost like I don't feel like I belong to that project. And I was here meditating, doing my weekly analysis recently, and I remembered what happened with that Floridian thing. And one more thing I want to share about the Floridian thing, and just to capture the fact that this is a mindset that imprisons people. One day I was searching for the time that the giraffes are up in another hotel, and I told him, I was like, I want to search online, like what time is that available, because I want to go to that. And when I did that, I landed on this Twitter or something that people were talking about it, or like YouTube or whatever. And in the comments, people were mentioning like, oh, but like these are reserved for guests. You should not come like if you're not a guest, and da da da. And other people were mentioning like, no, this is totally normal. Like we live here in Orlando and we do this all the time. Like we take the bus in Disney Springs and we go and have breakfast and then come back, and it's regular. There was this people arguing against each other as if they are Disney's owner. And I'm thinking, wow, this is really a limiting thought in a lot of people's mind, which I can attest to you, like literally guys, like you can enter any hotel and sit down to have breakfast or dinner or whatever and walk out and nobody's gonna say anything ever to any hotel, okay? So, and this is just the sort of limitation that we place ourselves, like we place in our minds. So going back to the project that I'm living right now, this weekend when I was doing my weekly analysis, I remember that and I was like, because I was feeling anxious about this project. I was feeling too little for the project. And I remember that. And I was like, I'm gonna challenge myself because I know the place where this project's supposed to develop, and it kind of looks too big for me right now. The little me with a small company, one owner, bunch of AI agents, and like, it feels small. And I was like, I'm gonna challenge myself. I'm gonna go to that building and I'm gonna actually sit there and work there for a while. There is a coffee shop over there. There's like all these different things. I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna challenge myself to do that. And right when I did that, like just by writing down the challenge, I was already feeling so uncomfortable. Like, I kid you not, I was super uncomfortable already just with the thought of like getting on a train, going to Lisbon, and like, because I live in Cascais, and opening that door, and like, what if anybody, like somebody asks me like, what are you doing here? Like, I open my laptop and just sit there. Like recently I was speaking to a neighbor and we were talking about vision boards, which by the way, I made a video about it. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Better than vision boards, what I'm telling you today, this is the type of stuff that's gonna make you break through. It's living it. It's actually walking in the place where you feel like you don't belong. It's going there and letting yourself feel that stress, letting yourself feel that uncomfort feeling that we get when we are in this place that we have never been. It's something new, and do that until it becomes regular, plain regular. And I'm telling you, it doesn't take you more than like, seriously, like 5 times to do that. Like, because honestly, the 5th time that I walked in that hotel, it was just a hotel. I knew all the, the doors, the places, the restaurants, I knew everything over there. It was just a regular hotel. I'm pretty sure that by the 5th time that I walked in that building, I'm gonna feel so comfortable. And I did that this morning, which is why I'm recording this today. So today I woke up and it was so funny because it was raining. I'm going whether it's raining or not because I challenged myself. So I'm gonna go. And then I did. I went by train. I thought I was going to enjoy the train more, but in the morning, it's so packed and I had no idea. You see, this is the type of thing, it prepares you for it. And then I took the train, I went over there and I can't come in. And well, it was so funny that there is a coffee shop there. But when I entered, the coffee shop was closed. I was like, no way. I started laughing inside and I was like, no way, I'm just gonna sit down in the lobby for like 15 minutes, open my iPad, take some notes, sit down, see the movement, feel acquainted to this place. And then I'll go have lunch. And what happened was, while I was sitting over there, I saw a couple of people coming down and trying to go to the coffee shop and not finding it open. So I was like, oh, so it hasn't been closed forever. It's just like today. Listen how crazy that is. Today, when I decided to do that, it was closed. So, and it was raining. A lot of things might happen to try to make you back down. Don't. I continued sitting there and just like watching people coming in and out, just like feeling the vibe of the place and everything. Took some notes, took some pictures that are going to be amazing when I tell this story again in the future, and I can like display, the story and everything. Anyway, like you're just getting acquainted to that reality. Like if that really becomes fruitful, if, it becomes a measurable target and everything, and which I think it will because it was a vision that God gave me. So I think will, and I have faith that it will. By the time that it happens, I'm gonna be already feeling like that is regular to me. And so a lot of times you have to push yourself to that level. If you're in a situation right now that you feel uncomfortable, that you feel like you don't belong there, that you think that it's too much for you, that you think that you're not going to be able to take it or handle it, that you're going to be judged, you're fearful, you have all these things. Remember, this 95% of it is probably all in your head. There might be a 5% of it, which is true because you're not at that level yet. Your mind blocking you, trying to keep you in the reality that you're living in right now because it's comfortable. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad, it's comfortable. And it doesn't want you to move forward. There's other things that takes place as well, which I'm a Christian and I believe in the spiritual realm. And I believe that there's a calling for you. And I believe that you have to expand and you have to become something that can handle the challenges that you're going to have to overcome in order to fulfill that promise. So there are gonna be forces that are against that happening, right? So I believe that too. I believe that today when I get there and it's closed for the day, I don't want to say that you can call it a coincidence. I have lived enough close to Jesus to know that a lot of coincidences are not coincidences. There are things that are trying to take you away from your mission. You just have to kind of stay grounded and focused. I wanted to share this because I think that this is really important because I think that this can make a breakthrough in your life. You can get comfortable to that level that's beyond where you are right now. And in order for you to do that, you just have to live it. It reminds me also how in the desert, when the snakes were attacking the Israelites, and God asked Moses to make this pillar in the shape of a snake and make people go forward and look at it. Of course, there's a lot more meaning to it, but it's also about this, of you facing your fears, facing the thing that you think is going to destroy you and putting your trust in God beyond anything. And so with this exercise that I'm telling you, every time that I notice that I feel like I am not good enough, and that's blocking me from getting to the vision that I am pursuing, I immediately try to challenge myself and go like, really? Well, I'm gonna go there and see what's up. I'm gonna go and sit there for a day and see what's up and see if, if something changes. And I can tell you that just today when I was sitting over there, but when I was riding on the train, I think I was more nervous than when I got there. Even with the coffee shop closed and I had to sit in the lobby, literally, I felt comfortable. I was sitting over there and like nobody cared that I was sitting over there. Do you see what I'm saying? Like we kind of feel like, oh, if I get there, like probably people are gonna ask like, what am I doing here? And blah, blah. Nobody asked me a thing. I was sitting over there, open my laptop, was working, writing a little bit down, of this experience and everything. Nobody cared. And I was already feeling a little more comfortable there. I can almost picture going there every day. So yes, I hope that this video speaks to you. I hope that you have the courage to challenge yourself as well. And if you do, write down in the comment, like, challenge yourself for tomorrow. And the next day, come back here and write down, hey, I was feeling like I couldn't belong to so-and-so place. And I went there. And by the time I got there, 70% of my worries were gone. When you realize that the first obstacle that you have is yourself and not the situations, you stop getting in the way of what the Lord has for you. That's what I want to end this video with. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one.